Hi everybody, welcome to the Queer Network. My name is Justin Gerhardt and this is my partner Alex Coelho.
Hey guys.
We live here in New York City, and specifically the reason I wanted to bring Alex into this is because we have some first-hand experience, unfortunately, having this virus.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, tell them a little bit about this journey we've had.
So Justin and I, like most people, went about preparing for quarantine. As Justin mentioned, we live in New York City, and we were preparing to, certainly go into some social distancing, isolation.
Yeah, didn't know how much that was going to be, but
how long that was going to be. And I think by Sunday night, we both, we had a moment of looking at each other and going, something just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I feel weird.
And it just progressed.
Yeah, the aches and the fever and the hot and cold, and there was some respiratory stuff, but I honestly didn't know if it was respiratory stuff or if I was just nervous because I didn't know if I had it. Because at that point we had no idea. We had symptoms, but we had no idea if we were even going to get any tests, because in America at the beginning there were so few tests available. We just knew we had some symptoms. So,
and then it's also, it's anxiety, your mind, right? So everyone is saying that these are the symptoms of this virus, and sometimes your mind starts to play tricks on you.
Because those are also a fever.
Right.
Or a flu symptom.
Right.
So then you got tested on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we didn't get those test results back for another 5 days.
Right.
So within that, we continued to have these crazy fevers. Like your fever was 103.
Yeah.
Mine was like 102.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
And a consistent fever. I've never experienced, even with the worst flu that I've had, a fever that was just like, it didn't let up.
Yeah. We were waiting for these test results, basically kind of assuming that we had it, but we didn't know.
Right.
And so then we're not telling people specifically because...
But we did at that point, the minute that we started to feel like there was a possibility that we could have it, we were already social distancing. We were already pretty much isolated. But at that point, we did not leave the apartment, until we got the results.
Yeah.
That confirmed that we did have it, and which I think is absolutely important. As we learn more about this virus, there are still so many unknowns, but one thing that we know for sure is it's very easily spread. And so fortunately, we did our best to take care of everyone around us, our neighbors, and that meant staying indoors and just waiting for our bodies to heal and recover.
Yeah. Really what we made sure, before we went outside for walks, we made sure that we didn't have a fever anymore. Right. That was essential.
And we certainly waited a period of time. My doctor had instructed me that we should wait 72 hours before 72 hours without taking Tylenol as a suppressant for a fever. That would be an indication that it was okay for us to sort of venture out. And still at that point we were cognizant that we should sort of try to keep our cooties to ourselves still.
So wearing masks.
So we were wearing masks, we were wearing gloves, very limited excursions, which for us at that point meant going to the park.
Yeah.
I have so much gratitude that we did this together. Because we were lockstep through it all, and it did. It just made it easier. I think about people that have to experience this alone, and specifically with this virus, we know that like you can't be cared for, like sick or not, you have to self-isolate. If you get to a point where you really need attention, then that's when you'd go to the hospital.
And so if you are alone, FaceTime or anything, honestly. Call that friend, call that parent, call anybody that you can talk to in those moments when you need a little cheerleading, you need a little pep talk, you may not even be sick. But like having each other was crucial during this.
And I think that this is one of the other things, sort of side note of this whole thing is really getting in tune with your body. Certainly there are ways that we can cope and help our body in the healing process. I think for us, meditation was key.
Has been huge. Something that we both did before this, but this really ignited a different motivation to do it and to exactly what you said, be in tune with our bodies and be in sync with each other. So we meditated together. A huge resource for us was this app called Waking Up. It's by Sam Harris. This
Really
is
great.
not an ad. He did not ask me to say this.
Yeah.
But I will tell everybody about this because he lays out it's free for the first month if you want to download the app. And honestly,
he's really generous. He has a great program where he'll, if you can't afford it, he's like, reach out and they'll work with you on pricing.
Yeah, honestly, he did a whole COVID video or COVID meditation that included information about the fact that he knows that people don't necessarily have a huge stream of income right now. So if for some reason after a month you still can't afford the subscription for the app, Sam was like, email us, we'll give it to you for free. He wants nobody to not be able to access this. He wants everybody to be able to access these meditations, because we were even talking to your friend and he also keeps hearing that everybody's meditating right now.
Right.
And it's because it calms you down. It's the opposite of anxiety.
Right. Well, you know what? Meditation causes you to come to a space of being present, of slowing down and taking a moment. And that sort of, I think, leads to this bigger conversation that we've been having, right? Like, if we want to look at, step away from the day-to-day reality of Corona and how it's changed our lives, it is giving us a moment for reflection, right? And I think that this does, despite all of the pain and suffering that's going on, and that's not to be, overlooked, but certainly this is an opportunity to have a master reset, to sort of reconnect with yourself. And that goes back to being attuned with your body, being attuned with the life that we're living. We live in a space that everything moves so fast. And Mother Nature said, I'm going to slow you guys down.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a moment.
Yeah.
Take a beat. And so...
think about all the times you've wished, I just wish I had a month off.
Right.
And it's amazing that this can be that for you right now. What is that one thing you wanted to try? I mean, the other co-creator of this queer network, Eddie, is learning Spanish. He's taking voice lessons, piano lessons.
Your sister.
My sister's taking cello lessons. My mom is learning how to teach voice lessons from home. I'm learning how to teach piano lessons from home. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can be productive during this time. And part of that, I think, is turning that lens onto yourself and asking yourself, what is it that I've always wanted to do? And yes, there are some restrictions because we're at home, but there's so much time that could be spent on the things that you've always wanted to do, or all the books you've always wanted to read, or the people you wanted to keep in touch with, or you wanted to get better at calligraphy. I don't even know.
I mean, I think the point is, take the moment.
Yeah.
And this is about taking a pause, and there's no one right way to get through this, right?
No.
So if it's watching movies, if it's happy hour Zooms, by all means do that. But I also think it would be a missed opportunity if we weren't to take a little bit of time and have some self-inquiry and spend some time going, even if it's I take stock of my life and I'm happy with everything. Everything's great. I'm on track. Great. I keep going. But if it's not, what an awesome opportunity to be here are the things in my life that I'm I want better than this. I can achieve better than this. And then, starting to carve that out. What's life after Corona? And where you put your time is where you find joy and happiness. And so.
And another thing we've addressed or we've talked about is that for a lot of people right now, this is not a time to be reflecting and having, oodles of amounts of time in your apartment alone. There's a lot of people that are the essential workers at the front lines of this virus and this pandemic.
Heroes.
And
real heroes.
They're the real heroes of this. And that is not just the people that are working in hospitals, but that are the people that are at the grocery stores, at the bodegas.
Pharmacies, and all those people. I mean, the people that clean hospitals.
The delivery people.
All of these people that are literally on the front lines of this. And, I don't think it's an overstatement to say that they're risking their lives.
Literally.
And showing up. And
the newscasters, the reporters, the journalists. It's just so important within that reflection that you take to also put that energy back out there and be grateful and thankful for the people who are going to save somebody's grandma, who are going to save somebody's baby from being born in an unsafe area. Like, you know, there's people that are, all the things that happen in normal life are still trying to happen right now. People are still pregnant, people are still going to have babies, people are still going to get other sicknesses, people are still having to fulfill prescriptions that they used to use all the time, and now they're wondering, are they going to be able to fulfill those prescriptions? There's just so many ways that this thing has affected every single part of our lives. And so not to overwhelm yourself, but just to consider being grateful that you get to be at home when you do, and if you get that chance to thank one of those people, please do. We at 7:00 every night. It's something that has come across from Paris and London and Rome. It's this, we clap, we open our windows and we clap for like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's this huge thank you. I get chills just thinking about what that feels like to connect in that way.
And because that's the amazing thing, and I think that is part of what's afforded to us. I think that when you have that moment of clapping, it is the collective energy of all of humanity channeled into the same place at the same time. And you can't help but feel overwhelmed by it.
One of the things we've also talked about is understanding the difference between something that is essential and not essential. I just challenge you all at home that are staying at home, that can stay at home, to really consider what is essential. In our opinion, the only things that are essential are going for a walk with some sort of protective in front of your mouth, not necessarily for other people, but to keep whatever you have, assuming you might have the virus and you're asymptomatic, that you keep something in front of your mouth so that when you're just talking to somebody, even though you're 6 feet away, we now know that this virus can live in the air. So you might as well put a handkerchief on or put a mask on if you have it.
Make it chic, make it a look. We have a great friend that was wearing a mask and then put a scarf over it, and it actually looked amazing. And like, I think get creative, but I do think you want to keep your germs in and other people's germs out. So it's like, you know, twofold.
If you're going to the grocery store, that's essential. You need groceries, or get it delivered if you can. And the only other reason you'd need to leave your apartment is to go to the hospital. Literally, if there's anything else, it's not essential. And I want you guys to consider that you, right now, during these shutdown, lockdowns, quarantines, that you don't need to leave your apartment. Again, I know it sucks.
And then this is again the moment, if we start to reframe this for ourselves and not go like, what am I not able to do that I'm used to, you know, that I usually get to do, and go, what is afforded to me now? What can I do now? I think that will help to ease the anxiety of like, all I want to do is hang out with my friends. Of course, we all do. But if we go like, all I get to do is explore all the things that I love. You know, and reframing it, I think, will help to get through it.
After all that we have talked about today, I think, you know, what's most important is that we do follow these orders to stay at home. The staying at home is what allows for this virus to die on its own, and not having us interacting with each other to keep spreading it around. In Canada, in the United States, even in certain countries in Europe, we're not used to having to follow these orders of staying home. And I know it feels drastic. I know it feels like this is insane, but consider that basically the entire world is listening to this right now, is going through this right now. So if you're questioning whether you should also be a part of that and stay at home, I mean, consider that governments around the world are taking this very, very, very seriously. I mean, it's taken some time for the American government to get there, but they're there now. They understand that this is really crucial that we all stay at home. And so I really I implore you to consider and to stay at home, to protect everybody, to protect the people that you don't know what their immune system is like. You don't know if they have a pre-existing condition. We are young, healthy men that could get through this, and it was rough, let me tell you. But if I can think of somebody who had diabetes, or was not at the weight that they wanted to be, or somebody who had any sort of pre-existing condition, this would take you down. And that's the reason you need to stay at home. So you don't give it to somebody who can't actually get through it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely all in this together, and we all have a part to play, and you know, every role counts. And if our role means staying home, and that's the part that we can play right now, then I think that we should take that on with all the integrity and duty that, you know, frontline responders are taking on their roles. We will get through this.
Yes.
I think we both agree that in all things you can reframe and look at the opportunities that are provided to you. This is an opportunity for us to spend some time reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with our friends, and creating a greater space for gratitude. And I think that, again, from this great tragedy, there's an opportunity for us to find great joy. And I think dig deep, find your special power and share that. And I think, like, you know, that's the way that we're going to get through this. We can smile and love ourselves through this. And I think that's what we should endeavor to do. Certainly as queer people, we know how to get through some shit. So dig deep and bring that sort of fortitude to the communities around you. This is definitely an opportunity for us to take up that mantle and lead. You know, even if it means bringing joy. You know, and I think that's something that we're really good at, creating joy out of darkness.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing our story. And you know, we're all in this together. So
we'll get through it together.
Stay strong, stay safe, and stay home. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you stay up to date on everything that's queer content related.